Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is, I was like, do I have my light on? It is, well, I don't know what time it is because I'm backing up and it's showing my backup screen. I'll tell you in just a second. It doesn't matter what time it is. Anyway, I had pulled into this Speedway gas station, well, to get gas and go to the bathroom. I've been driving around listening to my audiobook, and then when I stopped, I was looking at my Instagram, and somebody had tagged me in this guy's picture that had just moved to Indianapolis, and somebody tagged me in it and said, oh, well, now you'll have to do a collab with Peter Monn. So I went and this guy is a YouTuber and I didn't know that. And so I went and I looked at his channel and was like, I watched 3 of his videos. He's real sweet, very endearing. And I was like, oh, this guy seems really, really nice. And so I was like, oh, this is nice. I always like when I find somebody, new that's a YouTuber or whatever. When I find a new channel that I really like. So, yeah, that was cool. And earlier tonight, I went and picked up Tanya Jean, and we got a fountain pop. Well, she got a fountain pop, a small one, and I got a bottle of water. I'm really struggling with my weight today. I woke up and I was super, super heavy, like the heaviest I've been in a year. And I just was really, really kind of beating myself up about it this morning. And yeah, it was a tough morning for me. And I know that I always get on here and I'm always trying to be, super positive and inspirational and stuff, but my weight is my one thing that I don't know, I was watching this guy's video and it was really nice because he was in there and he was talking about his weight and stuff like that, and he was talking about comments that he's received about his weight on his channel, and that people are always saying stuff about his weight, and he was yeah, but I've lost a lot of weight, but I still struggle with it. And he was and just kind of with no excuse, totally owned it. And he was I'm totally a yo-yo dieter. I have been my whole life. He said, I'm an emotional eater. I know that. He's I eat when I'm happy. I eat when I'm sad. I eat when I'm bored. I eat to celebrate. I, eat to, and it was so refreshing to just it was weird. It was was I supposed to come across this today? I beat myself up so bad this morning and bawled my eyes out to my husband and was just we're getting ready to go on this trip and be on the beach. And I'm it's expensive to go out of town at this time of year, and I'm I want to enjoy it, and I'm beating myself up because I don't want to be in a bathing suit. And this isn't anything that I didn't know 3 months ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. This has been consistent in my life, and I was just I had a hard day this morning. I got on the scale and I weighed myself, and I just was I can't believe this. It just is really hard. And it's my fault, I know that. I know I'm the one that eats, And I appreciate everybody's comments in the comment sections when people are well, don't drink soda and the weight will shut off. I have stopped drinking soda for periods of my life and the weight didn't shut off. Or people will say, oh, you should try this. And, and it's really, to be honest, I know it's a form of endearment or flattery that people are willing to share their personal stories and try to help me. And he said that in his video too. He said none of the diets or the programs are wrong or a failure. It's me that failed the programs. I know that. And I guess sometimes I really enjoy food. It's not just that I'm an emotional eater. It's I really enjoy food. Some of my favorite things are sitting there and watching like a TV show late at night and eating, or going out to dinner with my husband, you know, and I don't want to go out to dinner and have, you know, a veggie burger without a bun and a side of broccoli. Like, that's not enjoyable to me. Like, I enjoy eating food that is not healthy for me. I enjoy eating pasta with creamy sauces on it. I enjoy eating desserts. I enjoy eating, you know, chips with 3 dips, you know, and I got that, like, that street corn dip, and now they have like another one. It's called like Mexicali that I really like. It's like this hot dip and hummus, and I just sit there and I eat like half a bag of chips and like dipping it in there, and of course that's not healthy, you know. And but I just like food. Like, that's really what it is that I just like food, you know. And I don't know what the answer is. You know, I feel like I always have people in my life that are suggesting things to me in kind ways, you know. And we'll say, well, you know, like, well, what if you dieted through the week and then you allowed yourself like one day to, like, you know, feast and have whatever you like, very much like the feast fast. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I've done that, you know. But I don't know. It's just, it's hard, you know, sometimes. And I'm just not happy with my body, and I'm not happy with how I look. And, yeah, it's just, it was a tough morning for me, and I pulled myself out of it, and I went and got a coffee, and I drove around for a little bit listening to some music, and I just was kind of like, okay, Peter, like, you need to start your day over, and, you know, you need to be grateful that you're alive, and that you can use your body no matter how heavy it is, you know. And so I pulled myself out of it, and came home. What did I do after that? Well, oh, when I went to Starbucks, I filmed my review video, and then I came home and I uploaded that, and then I ran to the post office. I'm tired. This is not going to be real long because I want to get home somewhat early, because we are going to see a Christmas Carol tomorrow, and I'm excited, and I want to like get up and be rested and all that stuff for that tomorrow. But anyway, and like, see, like, we'll probably go out to dinner somewhere afterwards, or lunch, because we're seeing it early. We're seeing it at 1. There was like a 1 and a 6 show, and I wanted to go to the 6 o'clock show, but by the time I got on to order tickets, there were no good seats left together. There were seats available, but they were like 2 and 1, or, you know, 1, 1, and 1. And like, who wants to go to see a play together and not sit next to each other? So the 1 o'clock show had 3 seats in the 4th row, and so I got those seats, and I'm hoping that they're good seats. I don't know. I haven't been to this theater. It's IRT, Indianapolis Repertory Theater. I haven't been there in a long time, but it's like the main serious theater in Indianapolis. So I'm excited about that. We're gonna go see that at 1, and then we'll be downtown, and I don't know, like, I had said something about, like, when I thought we were gonna go at 6, because it would have gotten done at like 8:30 or something, that maybe we could go eat afterwards downtown. But if it's done at 1, if we're done at like 3:30 or 4, I don't know where we'll go eat, but probably somewhere. So, and then I might come home and make videos. I don't know, I might take the day off, we'll see. It just kind of depends on how I feel when I get home tomorrow. And then, what else did I do? Oh, then I came home, and, oh, so Alex's aunt called him, and it was like late, and I had just set up, and I was like getting ready to make videos, and she was like, yeah, like, and this was kind of like how his family is, like, within a half an hour's notice, like, everybody's getting together. And I was like, well, I just started making videos, and I was like, why don't you go ahead of me, and then I'll meet you over there, because they were like, his aunt is, she's going out of town, and so he was like, why don't you go, and, you know, I said, you go ahead, and I'll come over. And so he was like, well, I'm only going to be there for like a half an hour, because he was meeting up with his friend Amy, and they were going to go to this party tonight. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, why don't you call me when you get there, because by then I should be done with like filming the videos and stuff. So he was like, well, babe, I don't want to rush you. He was like, don't even worry about it. You didn't even know till the last minute. and we're just getting together for like a half an hour. It's nothing like serious. So I start filming my videos, and I like have my phone plugged in the kitchen because I knew that I wanted to do like a live stream later, and which my phone just would like not, it wasn't charging, and I didn't know that. So anyway, story of my life. And so anyway, I got done with my videos, and I like checked in with him, and I was like, how was your aunt's? Like, and are you having fun at the party? Because by then he said that he was going to pick her up at like 7:30, and at that point it was like, I don't know, like 8 o'clock or something. And he was like, oh, I'm still here. And he was like, I just told her that I would meet her afterwards, and I wasn't going to go to the party, and that we would just, I'm going to like pick up Sarah and whatever. And he goes, I'm actually leaving here, and then I'm going to come by the house first. And I was like, oh, okay. So I totally could have gone, and, but whatever, like, yeah, so anyway, that was that. But we're going over there on Christmas. We're going over to his brother and sister, or my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's house, my brother and sister-in-law's house on Christmas Eve, so I'll get to see everybody then anyway. He said it was just like real low-key and real chill. But anyway, I love getting together with the family, and I wish I had known earlier, because I would have done that, you know, and just like, then I would have like maybe skipped videos today and made videos tomorrow, you know what I mean? But anyway, it is what it is. And then he got home, and then Sarah actually picked him up, and then they went to go meet their other friend for dinner, and then he dropped, and then I think he took an Uber downtown or something, and or he went with one of his friends from dinner. I guess there was somebody else that showed up, and then he went downtown, and he's downtown right now, out with some of these girlfriends of his. And then, and I think Sarah and Amy went home. So yeah, so that was like his night. And then I did a live stream, and well, I had to go and I had to mail, because I had forgotten to do this earlier. I had to go back to the post office, and I had to mail a bunch of the giveaways, because I put the giveaways together, some of them, and mailed those out. And then I came back and I did a live stream for 2 hours. I did a 2-hour live stream. I didn't even realize I had been on that long. So, it was like maybe more of like an hour and a half, but it was long. So anyway, and that was really fun. I had a really good time doing that, and people were so nice in there, and it just was really a good time. And then, let's see, what else? Yeah, and then after that, Tanya wanted to get a fountain pop, and so it was almost midnight. I think it was about midnight, and I said, do you still want to go to the fountain pop? She said, yeah. So I went and picked her up, and then we drove around and we looked at Christmas tree lights, and we went into that area that's called Prairie, that like they bought all the lights from the place that we went last year, and so they have like the lights in there now. I showed her that house that I showed on here the other day, and then I should plug in my phone, actually. My phone hasn't been wanting to like hold a charge all day. I don't know what's been wrong with it, but I need to get a new phone case for my phone, because my phone case is like ripped to shreds. Why is this person following me, turning in? I'm like at a strip mall. What is going on? Oh. They're not following me. I always think somebody's following me, but they're not following me. I'm not that important, nor that exciting. Anyway, so yeah, that place that Tanya and I used to go that had all the lights, that was that John Deere place. They like, I guess, sold or gave all of those lights to Prairie settlement. So we drove in there. I feel like my lips are wanting to get chapped. I've been using like, I always use a lot of lip balm, but today I've been using a lot of lip balm. So anyway, we drove in there, and Tanya's like, you can drive way back, you can drive way back. And I was like, no, Tanya, I don't want to drive way back there. I don't want to get in trouble. She was like, get in trouble, it's a parking lot. Just drive way back there and see it. And then we drove, and there was a sign that said, like, don't go any further or whatever. And she's like, Eric and I drove back in there. Just drive back in there. They don't care. We drove back in there the other day. They didn't care. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. You can't really see a lot of the lights, but you can see some of them. There's tons. They have tons. It goes all the way back into the Prairie settlement. It's Prairie settlement. It's like this 1800s, Prairie settlement. they have like, you know, I've talked about it on here before, but anyway. So, yeah, that was that. And then tomorrow is A Christmas Carol, and I'm so excited about it. I can't wait. And, I've been listening to this. I'm really upset. So I was like, I downloaded some music, stuff that I had tagged, and I downloaded this. Or how did I do this? Oh, no. Well, I'd heard this song before, and then a friend of mine and I were like, we were talking about dance moms for some reason, and we were looking on Maddie and Mackenzie Ziegler's Instagram, and they've grown up. And because we were like, well, what happened to them? Oh, we started talking about JoJo and like JoJo's Bows and JoJo on YouTube and all that stuff. Then we started talking about the other girls like Nia and Maddie and Mackenzie. So anyway, we looked up Mackenzie Ziegler's Instagram, and she does like a lot of like singing, like covers on her thing. And she did this Billie Eilish song, Everything I Wanted. And I think I'd heard that song before. And so I like downloaded the song yesterday. I love this song. It's fantastic. It's so beautiful. And then Lana Del Rey has a new song out. I think she has a new whole album out. I was gonna say CD. Does anybody buy CDs anymore? I just realized like a couple months ago that I have no place to play my CDs. I have no CD player in my car. So even if I wanted to play a CD, I didn't realize that cars weren't making cars with CD players anymore. And I was like, it just like occurred to me, I was like, I have like literally all of these CDs. Like, what am I supposed to do with them now? You know what I mean? I mean, I literally have no place to play a CD. I have like one of those like jam boxes or whatever you call them, you know, in my office. But like for like when I'm writing and stuff, and it's from like literally 1990 probably. And it still works, but I'm like, that's the only place I have to play CDs, so why do I have all these CDs? And furthermore, why do I still have bags of cassette tapes in my basement? I mean, it's funny to me that my vinyl records that I have and my mom's that I have saved are more relevant than CDs and tapes because I have no place to play them. Well, actually, Alex gave me a couple years ago a record player. I think a Cromwell, is that what it's called? It's really nice. And it does have a tape player and a CD player in there, so I could do that if I wanted to, really, but I don't even use that. And I bought a new needle, with the needle on the record. I bought a new needle. God, I bet it's been 6 months or a year ago now, and it's sitting in a bag in the garage, and I haven't done anything with it. I also bought this thing that you put together. It's like this wood thing to put all your record albums in, and I haven't done that either. I have so many things on my to-do list, it's ridiculous. But like every day just floats into the next, and I never get done the things I want to get done. When we come back from vacation, my goal is to be very, very structured and get some stuff done. Those people were like still up and having fun. We saw our neighbors twice today. Like when we were, so we took the dogs outside in the yard, and Alex and I were standing there, and their dog came over, and Boo Radley was going crazy. He thought he was the neighborhood watchdog or something. He's so loud. And so our neighbors came out, the new ones that moved in with their dog. They were out there in our yard, and they were like throwing a ball back and forth with him in the yard. And they have this old golden retriever that's so sweet. And so anyway, and then I saw them when they were coming back from dinner, and I was talking to them, and she was like, you guys are always like going someplace. She was like, are you going someplace? I said, yeah, I meant to tell you that. I said, we're going to be leaving to go out of town, and I just wanted you to know and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, oh, okay, blah, 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 whatever. She was like, well, do you need me to get your mail and stuff? She was so sweet. We do have some good neighbors right now between her and Laura. She like paints in the garage, and she like always is like, today it was so funny because I was like in the kitchen, and she was playing like this really soothing music, and I could hear it kind of like just faint, like I could, like if I stopped, like then I could hear it, but almost kind of like faint, like hardly, you know, at all. And she sometimes like sings on the back patio and stuff. She's sweet. We have like nice neighbors right now. It's really nice. I guess we really haven't had, I mean, horrible neighbors ever. Like in the neighborhood, there's a lot of older people that, I mean, I make jokes about it, but they're just older and kind of set in their ways, you know, but they're nice. So that's tomorrow, and then Monday, I don't know, like, what Alex has to work, and I don't really have a whole lot of plans on Monday, so probably just make some videos. And then Christmas Eve, I love Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve next to Halloween is my favorite day of the entire year. They probably have a close tie. I love, love, love Christmas Eve. It's hands down one of my favorite days of the year. And I just think it's so, like, magical, mysterious, and I loved, like, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I love A Christmas Carol. You know, it takes place on Christmas Eve. And so I'm really excited for Christmas Eve, and I'm just going to do some, like, last-minute shopping probably, although I don't really have anybody besides Alex to shop for. And we said that we weren't, like, he's very much of, like, let's not do Christmas presents because, you know, you just paid for this huge trip. And I'm like, let's do a couple things for each other. And, like, the other day I said, I'm buying you Christmas presents. And he was like, no. He was like, you just spent so much money. And I was like, babe, like, we're going to do Christmas presents. I'm not going to not do Christmas presents with my husband. And I know a lot of couples don't. They're like, well, we're older now. We don't need things. Let's get things, you know, whatever. So I have a couple little things I want to get him. And, I really wish, like, I'm such a saver, but I really wish I had expendable cash and I would get him this, like, he wants this Louis Vuitton backpack. He's, like, been eyeing it forever. And, but, I mean, he doesn't need it. Well, nobody needs one, right? Nobody needs a high-end luxury backpack or purse, but I don't really like, I like that kind of stuff. Like, I would, trust me, I thought about getting one. I talked about it on here. But then when it really comes down to it, it's like Alex went to the jewelry store because he was getting a watch, like, resized. And so he sent me a picture of my dream watch. And my dream watch is a Cartier Santos watch. It's like what I've wanted, like, since I was like 21 years old or 20 years old. I've wanted one forever. And I love them because I think they're more unique than, like, a lot of watches that, like, that are high-end watches. And a watch is something that I would spend the money on. Like, I would save my money and spend it on. Not that, I mean, I have the money in savings, but I like, just to go and, like, spend that kind of money on from your savings on a watch, like, I really struggle with that. So he sent me, they have, like, 8 of them there and different, like, things. And he was like, oh, look what they have here. And he was like, I was telling the guy that this is your, like, favorite watch and whatever. Because I, like, every time we go somewhere where they have it, like, I eye it. And I was like, yeah, I don't need that watch, babe. He was like, well, he's told me, he's like, you could save up, like, over a year or two. And Tanya told me the same thing. She's like, if you've wanted that watch for so long, why don't you just save, like, $100 a week for, you know, like, a year and a half, and then you could get the watch. I mean, the watch is like $7,000. And I'm like, I don't know, like, I feel like if I did that, because I am such a saver, that, like, at the end of the year and a half, like, I would get to it, and then I'd be like, I'm not spending this on a watch. Like, that's, I could be spending that money on, like, you know, putting it towards house repairs or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I would, like, I would get to the end of it and I'd be like, I don't think I want to do that, you know what I mean? I mean, if I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, I probably would feel differently about that, but that's not the case, you know? It's really been, it was at the end, it's really been, like, different and, like, eye-opening to me, like, ever since I, like, started, like, you know, looking at things between, like, what are my needs and what are my wants, and what do I really need, and, like, if it's something that I really want, right? Like, it's really changed my perspective about things. And never did I ever look at those things anyway as needs. I never saw them as needs, but I saw them as very, very strong wants, like, very strong desires that I had for these things, you know? And then some things that I would, some high-end things that I would purchase for myself, I would just realize in retrospect, like, I didn't really need that. Like, why did I feel like this compulsion that I had to have it, that I thought something would feel different, you know? I talked about that not too long ago on here, because with my dad and stuff like that, but anyway, so he sent that picture to me, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to have one, but I mean, if somebody gifted me one, I would definitely wear it. They're beautiful. But I'm like hoping the snow doesn't melt before. And I don't have anybody in my life that will be gifting me one, so we don't need to worry about all that. I will say this. Those Jode watches that, like, they're pronounced Jode, but they look like Jord, J-O-R-D. I have it in here, actually. Or I guess I don't. They reached out to me a while ago to do another sponsorship, but I did a sponsorship with them like 2 years ago. Is it in here? Maybe it's in here. It's at home. But I did a sponsorship with them like 2 years ago. I literally wear that watch all the time. Like whenever I go somewhere to do something, like if I'm going to something where I'm like trying to dress like a little bit nice or whatever, I always wear that watch. I literally, every time I wear it, I get compliments on it. It's the most comfortable watch. It's brown, but I wear it with black stuff all the time because I wear black a lot. And like that is the most fantastic watch. So I definitely think that like if you're looking to get somebody a present, and they run like $200-300, which is expensive, but at the same time, they're really worth it. I mean, I've had it for 2 years, and it's like literally the only watch I wear. Well, I got this like cheap gold watch. I wear it sometimes. It looks so blingy that I'm like, I don't like wearing it. It's one of those Invicta watches, which I think are nice. I'm gonna pull in here for a second. Alex just texted me. Which are nice, but at the same time, they just look really, really blingy, you know? He sent me a video. Hold on, I'm gonna stop this so I can listen to this video because I have to like turn the. I can't listen to it while it's plugged in. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. He's just like standing on the street with like all of these friends of ours, and they're like wishing me Merry Christmas. Here, I'll show you. You can't really see it, but well, you can't hear it now. But I couldn't get it to start forever. You can't even see it. See? These are like all these friends of ours. They're like saying hi, and then my other friend, here she is. And she comes on, she says hi. And then there's our other friend. And there they are. And then his wife comes on. Where's his wife? You guys are like, we do not care. And then, no, that's not his wife. There's his wife, and then they come on, and they start talking. So anyway, they're all like, hey, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. So anyway, Alex is forever sending me videos of stuff. I had a dream, got everything I wanted. Oh, look at that little Christmas tree over there. It's so pretty. I told Tanya tonight when we drove through the Prairie thing, I was like, I do not see the bumble from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because that was like the big thing that was like my favorite when we would drive through the lights. And she was like, it's there. And I go, no, I don't see it, Tanya Jean. And she goes, it's there. And so we like drove, if I get over there, well, I'm gonna get over there in a second, but I will drive you guys through and you can see the lights. But I was like, Tanya Jean, I was like, I don't see it. She goes, it's way over there. It's hidden. You can see it from Allisonville Road. I was like, so we drove down Allisonville. I said, girl, I don't see it. I said, you're trying to trick this one. She was like, no, it's over there. I was like, whatever. I was telling Alex today about how emotional I got last night about talking to Susie, you know? And he said, well, what do you think got you so emotional? And I said, because I was real emotional this morning about my weight, you know? And I said, I don't know. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. And I said, and it was interesting because somebody was it in my live stream tonight? Somebody asked me, like, how do you get over the loss of a parent? And I don't know that you ever really do. It, like, kind of like, it gets easier. You don't think about it as much, you know? Oh, I was telling Tanya about this tonight, too, because we had kind of a little conversation. She's like, well, you've had a lot of loss in the last couple of years with your, you know, aunt and uncle, and she's like, you've lost a lot of friends, Peter, in the last couple of years, because, I mean, Tanya and I, like, well, I mean, like, so I go to a lot of different meetings that Tanya doesn't, and, so I probably hear about a lot of other people and know of a lot of other people that I've gone to meetings with that have passed that she's not. I mean, we've lost a lot of people together, but like that she doesn't know, you know? Because she doesn't go to some of the same meetings that I go to. Because I go to a lot of like inner city meetings. And she's like, you've had so much loss in the last year. I was talking about like friends of mine and, you know, Jason and Scott, and then my friend that recently passed from cancer, and it's just like, and it was weird, like, Tanya and I started talking about death tonight, and we never talk about death, and I said, you know what's really weird, Tanya, is I said, like, before I got sober, and when I got sober, like that period of my life, my early 20s, my teen years, like, I had this huge fear of death, right? Like, terrified of it, you know, and that I have this, I believe in a higher power, and, I mean, even before I was sober, I believed in an afterlife, and I believed in something, I just didn't know what it was, right? Not that you have to, but that's just what I do, what I believe, and, but that what if, that, you know, that ginormous what if was in the back of my mind, that huge what if, that gigantic what if, that at the end, it's nothing, it's just darkness for eternity, and this is it, it's over, right? Like, it really puts your life in perspective when you think about it that way, and I kind of get it from an atheist point of view, you know, because it's like, if that's really the case, then we really should be enjoying and taking from every single moment of our lives, right? Just really enjoying every single moment of our life, if that's the case. And, because one day it's gonna all be over. And I said, you know, like, when you think about it in regards to like friends of ours and family members that have passed, like, that's their existence now. I mean, it's over for them, right? And it makes you think a lot about your own mortality, and it makes you think a lot about, like, well, what happens when I'm gone? And the older that you get, you feel blessed to have made it to this age, but at the same time, you also think, well, what if, like, I'm getting closer and closer and my days are numbered? You know, it's like, it's scary, and it's sad, because as you get older, you lose people and things change. And I know I'm not 70 or 80, but, you know, I have people in my life that are still very healthy, you know, and I don't know, so she and I were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, I have some of the, and this is what I said. I said, you know, and then when I got sober, and then like at 2 years when I started like really going on the spiritual journey of my life, which, by the way, like, I think I mentioned this last night, but I started watching The Good Place. If you want a really good TV show, it's a really good TV show. I really enjoy it. It's on Netflix right now, and I think they're coming out with their 4th season soon. Somebody said, I don't know what channel on TV it's on, but it's on Netflix too. But anyway, my friend told me to watch it, and I started watching it, and I'm loving it. But anyway, so I have a bottle of water back here somewhere, and I tried to get it before. It's not the bottle of water that I got with Tanya, but I can't reach it, and I want that water so bad. And I'm kind of dying for a Diet Coke as well, but I also don't want to pull through anywhere. I'm sure McDonald's is closed. It's always closed. But I said, you know, like, then at like 2 years when I started going on that spiritual journey, it took away some of that fear. And then when my mom passed, and I really don't know why, why my mom passing really affected that change in me. Did they turn the lights off on that house? I drove Tanya through to see that house tonight. No, that's a different neighborhood. That house is coming up here. I'm gonna show you, right? Oh, did they turn the lights off there? Oh, we are so not even anywhere near that house yet. I'm so silly. I'm like, what happened? Did they turn the lights off? I don't know what it was when my mom passed. I don't know if it was my first truly personal experience with it, even though I had lost close friends of mine and stuff. You know, I had a friend of mine that took his life when I was in my late 20s. My friend Duke took his life. And I would say that was like like my grandparents dying when I was younger. Like, you know, I was like 5 with my dad's dad, and I was like 12 or 13 with my grandma on my mom's side. But when my friend took his life, that was really hard, and that was really like the first time that I really felt like, damn, like it brought it to the forefront for me, you know? And I think it made it even scarier for me in some ways. And then I still think about him so much. He was so funny. And he was one of my dearest friends. But like that last year, we had kind of like fallen out a little bit. Like not fallen out like we had argued or anything, but like we just weren't seeing each other as much. He was going out a lot, and I didn't go out at all. And I was working a lot, treatment, and going to a lot of meetings. And that was a period where I just didn't see him a whole lot, you know? And I happened to be out the night before. Well, the night that he took his life, but the next day was when they found him. I happened to my boyfriend and I, it was my first boyfriend and I at the time, we just happened to be, like, we never really went out that much towards the end. And that was like, oh, here's the house. And my friend had suffered a lot of depression in his life, and had multiple attempts of taking his life. And you know, like when they talk about like people that have a plan and they're ready to go through with it, like the day before they like go and say goodbye to a lot of people, or they're like kind of in a really good space, like they're happy. Like that's been said about a lot of people. Not all, but that often when people take their lives, they'll look back and they'll say that, God, that last day, like they went and said goodbye, like they went and said hi to an old high school teacher, or, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Well, he hadn't like gone out to some of these places in a long time, and he happened to be out that night, and he was so fun, and he was so funny. And I remember I could see myself standing there talking to him, and I think that he was going to say goodbye to everybody. I think that was what he was doing. I think he knew that. I think that he, and I know that he left a note, and I kind of remember a little bit of what it said, I think, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I remember like my friend that I went to like all, you know, the grades all the way through graduate school with, she was how I met him, and she was really close with him. And I remember her being very angry, like sad, but very angry too. And I don't even know that I consciously really processed what had happened until like maybe even a year or two later, you know. I just remember going to the funeral, and it was surreal. But like until my mom passed, I still had this overwhelming fear, you know, of dying. And then something changed with me with that. I don't really know what it was. I just I think I got to the point, like, what's the point in I think really honestly what happened, it wasn't like I had this like spiritual wake-up call or anything. I don't know, maybe I did. You know, ask me in a year, my opinion will probably change. But I think maybe what really happened was I kind of was like, well, you can't do anything about it anyway. You know, it's like inevitable. And, you know, so you better, like, because I did have, like, with quickness, I had the moment. Like, I mean, I remember standing in that room. I can see her laying there because I moved to the other side of the bed and everybody left. My aunt did not want to leave the room, and she was, like, saying to the nurse, like, where does she go now? Where does she go now? And they were like, the nurse was like, well, we take her downstairs. My aunt was like, well, I have to go with her. And she's like, well, you can't go down there. And she's like, no, I have to go with her. Like, I have to be with her. Like, I take care of her. Like, I watched over her ever since she was a little girl. I'll start getting real emotional if I start talking about that too much, and I don't really feel like bawling my eyes out tonight, but, and so then my uncle said to my aunt, he said, come on, Kathy, let's go. Well, let's give Peter a moment outside by himself. And, my aunt, like, looked at me, and I think, like, in that moment, like, she was kind of very confused, I think, and in that moment, like, I think she got it, you know? Like, she wasn't confused, like, I just think she was in shock, you know, and the finality of it. You know, my aunt was really the one, you know, that coordinated everybody taking care of my mom and people going up there and seeing it. And she had, like, ever since my mom was a little girl, my aunt had taken care of her, you know. I'm gonna get real emotional if I talk about this stuff tonight, but, like, I think my aunt didn't know who she was if she wasn't taking care of my mom, you know. She would ask me, you know, like, afterwards, like, for years, she would say, like, I could have done better, you know. She would say, don't you think that I could have done better in taking care of your mom? I could have been nicer. I'd be like, Aunt Kathy, you know, you, like, brought her meals. I mean, my aunt would, like, make pots of chili and give it to my mom for a whole week because she was, like, afraid that my mom wouldn't eat, because my mom only bought, like, ice cream and crap, you know, or one orange. Or she would see on Dr., you know, Oz that, I'm going to go in here and show you guys this, but that, you know, blueberries were good for you or whatever. And so she would go in there and buy blueberries, and that's all she would eat for like 2 weeks or something. Should I risk it? Here, I'm going to give you guys the tour. I mean, what's the worst that they can do? Come out here and say, you're not supposed to be back here, and I'll say, okay, I guess I'm back. I just wanted to go back here and look at the lights. Aren't they so pretty? Figure out the best way to do this. We went to the right, so I'm gonna go to the right over here. Okay, so there's like this little road that you can like, that you have to pay to like go and walk through all this. And Tanya's husband just drove through it the other night when it was open. I was like, Tanya. She was like, what? Nobody cared. I was like, I'm sure they did. Isn't this so pretty? So see, do you guys remember this from last year if you watched my vlog? They like sold all of this stuff. Isn't this crazy? And it goes way back. So you can see right there it says Reynolds since 1955, and that's at Reynolds John Deere place. There it says Country Christmas with a John Deere tractor. So anyway, that's Connor Prairie. Y'all wanted some Christmas lights, there you go. But I don't know, you know, like I remember looking down at my mom that night, and I moved around to the other side of the bed, and that's when my aunt and everybody left, and they were like, just let Peter be alone in the room for a couple minutes with his mom. And so everybody left, and it was just me and my mom, and the lights were like dimmed, and she just looked like she was asleep. But I knew she was gone. Like, I could tell, like she already, I don't know, she just didn't look good. I think she had already kind of started turning a little blue or something. And I remember I was holding her hand, There were some nights that I would just like lose it talking about this, but I don't really want to go there tonight. I just was emotional this morning and last night, and I'm like, just, you know. But, I remember I held her hand and I just sat there, you know, holding her hand for a second. I remember I thought to myself, you're born, you live, and you die, and what you put in the middle of it is yours. Like, that was just like this, I thought those exact words. And, you know, like, what she put in her life in the middle of it was hers. She was born alone, and she died alone. I mean, ultimately, even though she had people around her, you know, like, she came into this world alone, she left this world alone. Not alone, like there wasn't anybody next to her and we weren't surrounding her. I don't mean that. I mean, like, as a journey, you know, and what she put in the middle of it was her choice. And I think, like, on some level, that was when it was kind of like, I remember walking out to the car that night because everybody left and was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just want to be alone. And I drove home, and I remember I turned on the radio, and I had, like, I was listening to Bob Dylan, Mr. Tambourine Man, and I just, like, I couldn't believe it. And it was, like, such a nice night outside. It was, like, in May, and it was beautiful, and I just was like, I can't believe she's gone. Like, I can't believe. It literally felt like, you know, you're reading a book, and it's, like, part one, it's like, and then it goes part two, and you're like, what? So what? And then it flashes forward like 20 years. Like, that's what it felt like. It was like, I can't believe this is like over. Like, it's over, you know? It just felt finite to me. And so then for a couple years after that, like, I didn't really think about dying. I didn't really think about death. I thought about death in regards to my mom being gone, but I didn't think about, like, my own death. And I didn't think about, like, oh, like, you know, like, because I jump-started my life, like, right that moment. It was like, okay, you better do the stuff that you want to do. And I was traveling a lot, and that was when I was going to Colorado, visiting my friend a lot that summer. And, you know, then Alex and I got together, and it was like, you know, I got into the best shape of my life. I was in fantastic shape that year. I was at the gym, like, literally every single day. And I was a vegetarian at that point, and I was, like, a healthy vegetarian. And that was, like, was it the first time that I was a vegetarian? I've been a vegetarian. Well, one time I did it for a short period of time, but that time I was, because when I was going out to Colorado, I was. And I started it then because my mom had, like, always wanted to be a vegetarian and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And that was when I stopped, because Alex and I, when we started dating, we went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and, like, he wanted to go through McDonald's, and I was like, that's when it ended at the McDonald's. Oh, man. But, and then I was telling Tanya what's so weird about it is, like, in the last, I would say, year or two, and I think maybe it's really the last year that I've really been working on myself a lot. Like, I'm not ready for it to be over. And so I think that fear of death has kind of, like, creeped back in a little bit, you know? But I don't know why. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it's because, you know, I feel like I have a lot of serenity and peace in my life. I was gonna say balance, but I need more balance in my life. I don't even know what that looks like sometimes, but, you know, like, I don't know if that's why I feel more afraid, because, like, I'm really enjoying my life right now, you know? Except for my weight. But I don't know if that's what it is, or I don't know, you know? But I feel like it's kind of crept back in a little bit. Or maybe I've just started to acknowledge that it's crept back in, that I have that fear again. I think also, like, in the last year, with having some contemporaries of mine, you know, that have passed, it's like, that feels weird too. Like, it could be me, you know, which is hard. And I miss them. I think grief is very selfish sometimes. I think it's because we miss those people, you know, because ultimately we wouldn't want them to suffer, you know, if they were still here, you know, and I think we hold on out of our own missing them, which there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know, but, and I'm not talking so much in like tragic accidents and stuff like that happens. I'm talking more about like with sickness and things. Like, I think sometimes grief is more about us than it is about them being gone. I don't know. And Caroline's really struggling this year too. Like, I was talking to Susie about that last night, because she like was really close with my aunt. And Susie's so funny. She's like real excited because she's going to the I think it's the Gator Bowl or whatever, and it's like IU is playing Florida, I think. I'm not sure, but anyway, so she's going down there and she's meeting. Okay, I'm back. As soon as it ended, my phone rang, and it was a friend of mine. And so anyway, I was talking to her for just a little bit on the phone, and then I was like, what was I talking about? I was like, oh, I was talking about Susie and the Gator Bowl. So anyway, Gator Ball, I don't know what it's called, but anyway, she's going down there and she's like meeting up with like all of her Pi Phi sisters and stuff. Anyway. So yeah, all of it's kind of weird, you know, I think, like, and I think this is like the first year that it's really hit Caroline. And like I was saying, like, you know, she's like, I think she hasn't really said a whole lot about it. Like, we were talking on the phone one day, I was getting coffee, and she was like, I'm like, when was that? I'm like trying to think back when it was, because we did talk one night and then we talked one day, and I was getting coffee, and I think it was that day. I think I talked about this on here already, the day that it happened, but like she was upset that day, and she's like, I'm just like really, like I'm having like a little bit of a hard time this year. I'm like missing mom and dad a lot. And, you know, for me, it didn't happen, well, it didn't happen until Thanksgiving of that year, when Alex and I went over there and to Caroline's house actually, and my mom's car. Okay, so when my mom passed away, I gave Caroline's stepson my mom's car, and so like he was driving it, and it was parked out in front, and like when I pulled up to the house, like, we had gone to Alex's Aunt Jackie's house first for Thanksgiving, then we went over to Caroline's, and when I pulled up, like I wasn't expecting to see the car there, and I don't know why, but like it just totally triggered me, and I was like, she should be here, she should be here, she should be here. I was just like, it was craziness. And I really guess, like, I hadn't really thought much about it before then, you know, that I was upset about it, or that I was gonna feel a certain way about it. I just really had no thoughts about it whatsoever, you know. And I got just really overwhelmed with emotion, and then that Christmas was tough, I think, but I don't remember really. I need to be going home, actually, is what I need to be doing. I didn't realize I need to get home and get some sleep for tomorrow. I need to go up here and turn around. But anyway, see, talking on the phone, that'll get you every time. But I just looked at the clock. I was like, oh, I need to go home. But I don't remember Christmas being super hard that year. I do remember that my mom was in ICU. This was at the very end during Mother's Day. And my aunt asked me if I wanted to do something with her and Caroline and Dave and all of them, and Mike and David. And I said no. And my aunt was kind of like, well, we really think it would be nice if we don't want you to be alone on Mother's Day and stuff. And I felt like I don't have a mother. Like, I felt like I didn't have a mother, like, probably a month, like 3 weeks or a month in. Now Alex is calling me. He's actually FaceTiming me. And he knows I'm vlogging. Because when he sent me the video, I texted him and I was like, babe, I'm vlogging. But like when I'll end this in a second and then I'll pull in and call him. But like a month in, like I knew, like I knew it wasn't good. I was like, this is not good. This is not going to turn out good. she's not going to be around for a whole lot longer. I just knew it. I felt it inside. Like, it was bad. Like, it was really bad. And I remember actually even going home, like, one night, and the doctors didn't communicate a lot to us, and I went home one night, and like, I was laying in bed, and I just, like, it's so weird. I felt like my grandma's presence, like, almost kind of saying to me, like, get prepared, because it's going to be tough. And it just, I had this weird feeling about it. Like, I just kind of knew, like, and so it just was, it was hard, you know? And so for Mother's Day that year, I didn't want to do anything, you know? And, or maybe it was Easter. I don't remember. Maybe it was both. I honestly don't remember now, looking back. I think it was Mother's Day, though. Mother's Day, definitely. I know they asked me, and I was like, I don't want to do anything. And my aunt kept on calling and was like, I want you to do something with it. I was like, Aunt Kathy, I just want to be alone. Like, I just don't. Like, I'm not feeling it this year. So she was like, okay. So anyway. But I don't know why I got real emotional last night, you know, about it. And, like, I think that's the thing about grieving that's weird. It's like, you know, you, like, it feels less painful over the years, but it's like it comes out at certain times, right? And I was telling Alex, and I was, you know, that I just, like, I miss that. I miss my mom and Susie and the girls and, you know, like, being around and all, and that's never gonna be again, you know? And it doesn't mean that it can't be in a different way. It just means it's never gonna be again, you know? And so, like, I don't realize that, I think, with Susie very often, because I talk to her on the phone, but it's like, last night it was different. Like, I was on speakerphone, and it was like all of us were standing there, and, you know, it was different. And I had a moment where I, like, really missed her, you know, and my mom and that whole situation, and because that was when she enjoyed life the most. Like, that was when she was the happiest and in her element, you know, was around her old friends and things like that. And, like, that's the mom that I really miss, you know, is like when she was full of joy in those moments. And I think that was why maybe that was hard for me. I don't know. But she would want me to live my life, and I know that, and she would want me to have the best life possible, and she really would. It's like the movie Up, you know? Thank you for the adventure, now go have one on your own. And I think that's it. It's like, I know my mom would want that for me. I know that's not just me being like, you know, like when somebody goes and they say, oh, this is what they would want. Like, my mother, if she was sitting here in this car, would say, I lived my life. Like, you need to live your life, and you need to have the best life possible, and you need to, she was a very fearful person, and she would say, you need to do the things I was too afraid to do. You need to travel the world, you need to take risks, you need to take chances, and you need to have fun. You know, maybe not so many risks, but she was a careful person, but she would say, you know, you need to go have fun, you need to love, you need to dance, you need to listen to music, you need to have a fun life, and you need to do good in the world, and you need to really just take this life. I know she would say that to me, you know? And she would say, I went too soon, I went early, so please make the most of your life. I didn't see that was a handicapped parking space. So anyway, listen, with that being said, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna listen to, oh my God, it's totally out of focus. With that being said, I'm gonna take my mom's advice that she isn't here to give, and I'm going to go in here and go to the bathroom, and then I'm gonna listen to my audiobook on my way home and go home and get some sleep to watch the Christmas Carol, or go see a Christmas Carol tomorrow, because I'm really excited about it. So I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans to make the most of your day. Enjoy it, live it fully, and do something today that will make you proud when you look back on it. Make a choice today, or a change in your life today for the future. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I know people are going to be like, you seemed really down in this vlog tonight. I'm not like really down. It's just like I woke up with the weight thing, and it just like really, like, did you ever like have like one of those, I just had one of those days today when I woke up, and it was like I had moments where I was just like really happy, and then I had like the weight thing like this morning, and I think it's like, I think it was a wake up call. Like, it's time, Peter. Like, you know, you keep on saying you're going to do this stuff and you never do it. Like, never do it. So yeah, it is what it is. I don't even know what that saying means. It is what it is. I guess it means it just is what it is, right? It's just not that deep. And it's just time for Peter to do something if it bothers him that much. And, you know, it's time for me to do something. So, without talking about myself in the third person. But I'm not super down. I mean, I'm super grateful for my life. I just wish I was living in a body that looked better in a bathing suit or felt more comfortable in my own skin, and I will work on that. So anyway, I think that's part of it that's hard, you know, like, and I'm just going to say this before I end this. I remember watching this Oprah, and they were asking, it was when she had lost a whole bunch of weight at one point, and like this person that she has as a guest said, well, what inspired you to lose all this weight? And she said, you know, I just built this house in Montecito, and I have this house, and I always wanted to have 100 trees. And she said, I had this house with 100 trees, right? And I could go out on my back patio, and I could drink my coffee in the morning, and I had all these trees, and I had this land that I always wanted to have, and I had this beautiful house, and I had all this stuff, and I had everybody in my life that I wanted, and I had this career that I had always wanted, and my life was just unimaginable. It was like I had this most amazing life, which I have, right? And she said, but I wasn't living it in the body that I wanted to live it in. And she said, I realized in that moment that that was what was stopping me. That was what was blocking me from truly, truly, like, enjoying every minute of my life. And she's like, I didn't want to live that way anymore. And I don't either. Like, I want to enjoy my life as full as I possibly can, unobstructed. And if my weight is standing in the way of that, then that's something that I need to do. And I'm struggling getting there. And that's just me being honest and holding myself accountable on video. Like, I'm struggling getting between I love food, I love to eat, to I want to live my life in a body that makes me happy every single day, you know? Because physically it's healthier, and also because superficially I feel better when I look at myself in the mirror, you know? So anyway, with that being said, like I said, I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday, unless you have other plans, like I said. But don't have other plans. Do something today that will make you happy. Start your day over like I did today if you have to. And, what else do I say? All of that stuff. I'm going to make changes in my life. Maybe starting on January when I come back. In January when I come back. No, I'm going to start it today. Maybe January. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Look at yourself in the mirror. There's these people getting out of this car, and it's just real distracting to me. And they're walking. Oh my God, they're walking this little chihuahua, and it has a little coat on it. Oh my God. I think she wants to be friends with Pee-Pee. She's so cute. Anyway, oh, I'm gonna go say hi. Okay, I'm gonna go say hi to this girl and her dog. And I love to say hi to dogs that are real friendly like that. Oh, little sweeties. And look at yourself in the mirror every single day. Make sure that you do your daily affirmations. I love you, and say to yourself every single day that you love yourself. I love you. You are valuable. You are important. You matter. And today is going to be a great day. And you can change your life anytime you want it, Peter. So anytime you want to change your life for the better, you can start. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Oh, most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how much they mean to you. And I love you guys, and don't forget that part. That part's important. You gotta let somebody know how much they mean to you. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Love ya.